You've been told that honesty is the right response to dishonesty, that when someone lies to you, the correct move is to name it, to confront it directly, to say clearly and without flinching, I know that isn't true. That instinct is understandable. It is also, in most situations, the least effective thing you can do. Not because the lie doesn't matter, not because letting it pass is the same as accepting it, but because calling someone out on a lie, directly, immediately, in the moment, almost never produces what you actually want from the situation. What it produces instead is a performance. The person doubles down, or they apologize without changing anything, or they become defensive, and the conversation shifts from the lie to your tone, your accusation, your decision to make this a confrontation. The lie itself disappears into the noise of the conflict that surrounds it, and you've told them something important. You react, you escalate, you can be managed by making you feel like the difficult one. There is a different move. It is quieter, it is slower, and it is significantly more powerful. Why calling it out fails? When you confront a lie directly, you give the liar exactly what they need to survive the moment, a target. The moment you say that's not true, the conversation becomes about the confrontation rather than the content, about whether you have proof, about whether you misunderstood, about whether you're being fair. The liar doesn't need to defend the lie, they just need to defend themselves against you. And most people, even people who know they're wrong, are extraordinarily good at defending themselves when they feel attacked. The direct confrontation also burns the most valuable asset you now possess, the knowledge that they lied. Once you've shown your hand, once they know you know, that asset is gone. They will adjust their story, adjust their behavior, adjust what they show you going forward. You've given them the opportunity to manage you more carefully. What to do instead? The alternative is not silence. It is not pretending the lie didn't happen. It is not swallowing it and absorbing the cost alone. It is strategic patience combined with deliberate observation. When you catch someone in a lie, the most powerful immediate move is to say nothing about the lie itself, and instead pay close attention to everything that follows. Because a lie is never just a lie, it is a data point. And data points are most valuable when they're part of a pattern, when you've collected enough of them to understand not just that this person lied, but why, about what, under which conditions, and what it tells you about who they actually are. One lie, confronted immediately, gives you a conflict. One lie, held quietly and observed, gives you information, and information, accurate, accumulated, uncontested, is what allows you to make genuinely good decisions about this person, this relationship, and what you are and aren't willing to continue. The specific moves. There are 3 things worth doing in the immediate aftermath of catching a lie. First, register it without reacting. This is harder than it sounds. The instinct to react, to let your face show what you know, to allow the conversation to shift, is powerful. Resist it. What you're doing in this moment is protecting your most valuable asset. The fact that they don't know you know. That information asymmetry is yours. Keep it. Second, ask a question you already know the answer to. Not to trap them, not to humiliate them, but to gather more data. If they repeat the lie, you now know it's deliberate rather than careless. If they adjust the story, you learn something about how they manage themselves when cornered. If they tell the truth, you learn something about what caused the lie in the first place. Questions are how you turn a single data point into a pattern. Third, adjust your behavior without explanation. This is the move that most people skip, and it is the most important one. You don't need to announce that trust has been damaged. You don't need to explain that you're creating more distance. You simply, quietly, without drama, become slightly less available, slightly less open, slightly less forthcoming with the information and access you were previously providing. Not as punishment, as an accurate reflection of the current state of the relationship. People who lie to you are counting on your behavior remaining constant regardless of what they do. The moment your behavior changes, without explanation, without accusation, without a confrontation they can defend themselves against, something shifts. They feel it, they can't name it. And that absence of a target to argue against is, for most people who rely on deception, significantly more unsettling than any direct confrontation would have been. what this is actually for. This approach is not about being clever. It is not about winning. It is about getting accurate information about who you're dealing with and using that information to make clear-eyed decisions about what you're willing to invest in a relationship with them. Some people lie once, under specific circumstances, and never again. That's worth knowing. Some people lie consistently, about small things and large ones, whenever telling the truth creates any friction at all. That's also worth knowing. The direct confrontation tells you almost nothing about which category someone falls into. The patient observation tells you almost everything. And once you know, clearly, without the distortion that conflict introduces, you can decide what you actually want to do. Not from anger, not from hurt, not from the particular confusion of someone who confronted a lie and ended up on the defensive, from clarity, which is the only position from which any genuinely good decision about a relationship has ever been made. So here's the question worth sitting with. Think about the last time someone lied to you and you called it out directly. What happened next? Did the lie get resolved? Did something actually change? Did you come away with more clarity about the person and the relationship, or with more noise, more defensiveness, more of your energy spent managing the conflict rather than understanding what the lie was telling you? Because the goal was never to win the argument about the lie. The goal was always to understand who you're dealing with. And that understanding doesn't come from confrontation. It comes from watching what someone does when they think you don't know.